did. Oh, it sounds like it's on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Staff Sergeant Megan Cardone, narrator for today's change of command ceremony, which will begin in 5 minutes. As we await the start of the ceremony, the United States Military Academy Band will continue to perform a pre-ceremony musical selection. As a reminder, please wear a face covering and maintain social distance for the duration of the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin in 2 minutes. As you move to your seats, please ensure all cell phones and any electronic devices are turned off. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the reviewing officer for today's ceremony, Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams, Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, welcome to the United States Army Garrison West Point Change of Command ceremony. Today, Colonel Harry Cecil Marson V will relinquish command of the garrison to Colonel Evangeline G. Rosel. The biographies of these great warriors can be found in your program. At your leisure, please take a moment to read about the extraordinary contributions and achievements each have made throughout their esteemed careers. The change of command ceremony is a traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. Since ancient times, armies have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victories over enemies, to honor comrades in arms, and to celebrate special occasions such as we are doing today. These ceremonies have not only added color and pageantry to military life, but have preserved tradition and enhanced esprit de corps. The Continental Army established the foundation on which our present-day ceremonies are based. What you will see today is a reflection of procedures developed by Baron von Steuben at Valley Forge in 1778. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Command Sergeant Major Rusty A. Lane, Command Sergeant Major for the U.S. Army Garrison West Point. Standing proudly before you are a small number of soldiers and Department of the Army civilians assigned to the Garrison West Point team, along with some of their equipment, representing over 1,100 civilians and 120 soldiers who comprise the mighty West Point Garrison organization that services all of West Point. From left to right, they are the West Point Fire Department, the Military Police Company, the Cannoneer, the Garrison Honor Guard, led by CSM Lane, Department of Public Works, Roads and Grounds, and 2nd Aviation. Please join me in a round of applause for these men and women of our Garrison team. At this time, we would like to recognize our special guests in attendance today. Please hold all applause until the end. Colonel Marson's wife, Amy Marson, his sons, Harry and Hank, Colonel Marson's father, Harry, and his wife, Yvonne, Colonel Marson's mother and her husband, Angie and Richard Holland, Colonel Marson's brother and his wife, Derek and Megan Marson, Mayor D'Onofrio from Highland Falls, Supervisor Bob Livey from the town of Highlands, and Orange County Executive Steve Newhouse, Colonel Rosel's husband, Major Jamail McGlone, her daughters, Michaela and Gabriella, and her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rosel. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for our special guests. At this time, Sergeant Gastello, the Garrison NCO of the Quarter, and Sergeant Audie Murphy inductee, will now present a bouquet of red roses to Mrs. Amy Marson. thanking her for her untiring support to the garrison. Red represents the color of the heart and reflects the loving concern that she has bestowed upon our soldiers and their families over the past 2 years. Additionally, Colonel Marson's sons, Harry and Hank, are being presented with Garrison coins. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the Marson family. At this time, Sergeant Whitmire, the Garrison NCO of the Year for 2019 and Sergeant Audie Murphy inductee, is presenting a Garrison coin to Major McGlone, welcoming him to the Garrison family. This token of friendship from the Garrison warmly welcomes Major McGlone to the team. Sergeant Whitmire is also presenting a single yellow rose, each to Colonel Rosel's daughters, Michaela and Gabriella, and a bouquet of yellow roses to Colonel Rosel's mother, Mrs. Rosel. The yellow roses and coins signify the dawning of their relationship with the soldiers, cadets, civilians, and families, thus establishing a relationship that will blossom and grow in the years ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the Rosel family. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain Keith Good, chaplain for the U.S. Military Academy. Now taking their places on the reviewing stand are Colonel Harry Cecil Marson, outgoing commander of the U.S. Army Garrison West Point, the reviewing officer, Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams, superintendent of the United States Military Academy West Point, and Colonel Evangeline Rosel, the incoming commander of U.S. Army Garrison West Point.
Let us pray. Mighty God, we are thankful for the day of celebration of service that we have in this land of the free. We thank you, Lord, for those who protect that freedom because of their bravery. And we are especially blessed because those brave are led by those we train here. Dear God, we're especially thankful for the clouds today, to be reminded that you smile on us even on a hot summer day. Dear God, bless Colonel Marson. We are thankful for his impact as he has led the foundational element of this academy, providing the sustainment that is needed to make the leaders of character a reality. Thank you for his leadership in a tumultuous 2 years, especially these last 6 months. And even as he goes from us now, bless him as he moves from foundation to framing the worldview and the education and the impact on those cadets as he continues to impact our nation years to come. Dear God, bless this ceremony, this celebration, this time, for those who are leaving, for those now coming, that you may be honored in all things, we pray. Amen and amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The United States Army Garrison West Point is the oldest active garrison in the United States Army. First established in 1778 as a Revolutionary War fortress, it became home to the United States Military Academy, which was founded in 1802. Since then, it has been the bedrock of leader and character development for the Army and the nation, and has grown to be a national historic landmark. Throughout American history, our nation's colors have been a rallying point for the American soldier. The Stars and Stripes have been the banner under which Americans have lived, fought, and died. More than a symbol, the flag is the embodiment of our liberty and of our freedom. At this time, the commander of troops will direct the officers and colors to march to the center of the formation to present the command and render national honors. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the national anthem, sung by Master Sergeant Mary Kay Messenger of the West Point Band.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, those broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight? O'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets with the lead, the bombs bursting in air, did prove through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For the lands of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The change of command ceremony is a traditional event that runs deep in symbolism and heritage. Key to the ceremony is the passing of the garrison colors. These colors represent not only the lineage and honors of the garrison command, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers and civilians. The garrison colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing the commander's responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the garrison commander is, so too are the garrison colors. The custodian of the colors is the garrison command sergeant major. As the senior enlisted soldier within the garrison, he is the natural spokesman for the loyalty and commitment of the soldiers and is the principal advisor to the commander on all affairs concerning them. CSM Lane passes the colors to Colonel Marson as his last act of deference to the outgoing commander. Colonel Marson passes the colors to Lieutenant General Williams, officially relieving him of the responsibilities of command. Lieutenant General Williams passes the colors to Colonel Rosel, officially charging her with responsibility of the garrison. By authority of paragraph 2-5, Army Regulation 600-20, the undersigned assumes command of the United States Army Garrison West Point, effective 23 July 2020. Signed, Evangeline Rosel, Colonel, Adjutant General, Commanding. Colonel Rosel passes the colors to Command Sergeant Major Lane, entrusting him with their care and reaffirming her confidence in the non-commissioned officer corps. The changing of positions of the incoming and outgoing commander indicates that Colonel Rosel has officially assumed command of the Garrison West Point. Ladies and gentlemen, Superintendent, United States Military Academy West Point, Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams.
All right, let's go. How you feeling this morning? All right, Chap, you got the weather fixed. Appreciate that. Way to go, Chap. Hey, Cecil, I didn't know you were going to bring all your toys out here. My grandson was just here. He would love to play with all these tractors and such. It's all right. Now they belong to you, Vanjie. Oh. And let's give another round of applause to all the great soldiers and civilians and contractors in the Army Garrison Command. Thank you. You know, as was mentioned, the last few months have been a little rough here at West Point, but I told Cecil in the small group in his ceremony earlier that everything we do at West Point, I'll move up the mic so you can hear me, to be preeminent, the preeminent leadership institute in the world, educate, train, and inspire, support and defend the Constitution. We couldn't have done any of that in the last few months without all those folks we just applauded. So thank you what you do every single day, from Brian Heverly to Charlie, all you all in there. I know you all by name, love you all. You have transformed West Point into an operational command, and we are leading in the country right now with all respect. So thanks again for that. Yeah, go ahead, give them a round of applause. All right, Sergeant Major, I want you all to shake. You're going to be mad at me later, but go ahead and shake it out. I want you all to shake it out. Go ahead, I'm giving you that command. Shake it out a little bit. It's a little humid out here. Go ahead, you can do it. Soup said, yeah, shake it out. Come on, man, wiggle and stuff. You ain't wiggled yet, man. You got it right. Wiggle, man. Wiggle a little bit. All right. See, you guys never seen that before, have you? All right, the old guard does it though, right? Curtis knows that. Band, you did great as always. You guys doing all right over there, band? I want to hear Parliament Funkadelics as we go off this thing, all right? Can you play that? Or how about little Country Roads, Cecil? All right. What do you want to hear, Vanjie? Play whatever you want to play. What do you want to hear? You just give me a song you want to hear. Okay, you guys, whatever you like to play. How about Get Down Tonight, KC and the Sunshine Band on the way out? See, she was going to say that. So Funkadelics, I want to hear all those three songs. Start practicing right now if you need to. Practice. Jesus, you guys, love you guys. Let's give the band a round of applause here. Vanjie's like, I'm not sure what I got myself into with this guy. AK, you know, right? Keep it real. All right, look, how sweet it is to be out here in Buffalo Soldier Field. We're going to put a monument out here next year honoring some of our bravest soldiers, the Buffalo Soldiers, next year. And Cecil, this team's a big part of that as well. So I'm honored to be here. We normally do the ceremony right over here, but we'll have a more pronounced place as we go forward. So we're here today to celebrate the honor and tradition as Colonel Cecil Marson turns over command of West Point Garrison to Colonel Evangeline Rosel. The events of the past several months have been challenging for all of us as a community, as a family, the Army, and certainly as a nation, testing our resolve and our resiliency, our mettle and our moral fiber as we faced and combated the coronavirus pandemic. The collective efforts of the West Point team to combat the virus and protect the force were nothing short of Herculean and allow us to continue our mission to develop the Army's future leaders of character. And at the front line of all those efforts were the incredible professionals of the U.S. Army Garrison West Point, with Cecil Marson leading the charge. Their efforts and support have touched every corner of this post, from standing up and running our emergency operations center, to manning the front gates, the deep cleaning of our buildings and barracks, coordinating with and supporting our local, state, and federal interagency partners, just to name a few. On top of all this, they have worked tirelessly to prepare the plane for graduation and our camps for summer training, while keeping the entire installation in pristine condition. And everywhere our Garrison team was, Cecil was there too, providing guidance and leadership, encouragement, and a motivating elbow bump. And when he wasn't physically leading from the front, you could find him online, answering the community's questions and addressing the concerns at one of his many town halls. So to Cecil and the entire Garrison team of MVPs, let me take this opportunity to thank you again for your support and tireless work these past few months. Each and every one of you have made a difference in keeping that invisible enemy on the other side of those gates. Please join me in another round of applause for the Garrison team. So we're here today to recognize Cecil for his leadership and to welcome Evangeline Rosel as the 14th commander of Garrison West Point. First, let me acknowledge some of our VIPs here, Cecil and Evangeline's family and friends. From Team Marson, Cecil's wife, Amy, and their boys, Harry and Hank. Cecil's dad, Harry, and his wife, Yvonne, joining us today from West Virginia. Cecil's mom, Angie, and her husband, Richard, also from West Virginia. And Cecil's brother, Derek, and his wife, Megan, from Colorado. And the Marson's friends, Jeff and Alicia Cox. And from Team Rosel, Evangeline's husband, Major Jamel McClone, who will also be joining us as the USCC S4. You got some work to do, brother. You ready? Okay, I'm just checking. Their daughters, Michaela and Gabriella. Her mom, Tomasa, who lives with Vanjie and her family. Her dad, Butch, here today from the Philippines. Thank you for being here, sir, ma'am. Also joining us from the Chicago area, Vanjie's big sister, Maria. I hear her laughing back here. And her husband, John, both West Point grads from the class of 95 and 96, respectively. Okay, what's your motto? With honor we strive. 96? Okay, that's good enough. Todd, you're here, right? What's their motto? Todd knows. Where you at, Brown? Left? Todd left already? Okay. There we go. Todd knows. Their sons, Charles, and their daughter, Samantha, from the class of 2022. Sam's here? Where you at? Oh, Sam, how you doing? Why aren't you, like, doing something right now? Curtis, what are we doing here? All right, Sam. Glad you're here. And several other family members from Chicago, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to one of Vanjie's friends, Mrs. Erica Jeffries Prideaux, one of our civilian aides to the Secretary of the Army from New Jersey, or CASA. Where are you, Erica? Thanks for being here, ma'am. So let's give her a round of applause. CASAs do great work for us. The great football coach, Chuck Noll, the longtime head coach of Cecil's Pittsburgh Steelers, once said that champions are champions not because they do anything extraordinary, but because they do the ordinary things better than anyone else. We talk a lot about the importance of winning in the Army, as the chief continually emphasizes winning matters. We emphasize winning at West Point, that continual and relentless pursuit of excellence. We see this continual quest for excellence permeate daily throughout this installation and through all who work here, particularly the team of champions at Garrison West Point, led for the last 2 years by Cecil Marson, the mayor of our fair city, tirelessly working to keep this installation running smoothly, doing the ordinary things better than anyone else to create and sustain a community of excellence here. The work of the Garrison team is so important to any Army installation. More than just keeping the lights on and the lawn mowed, they are the face of the community, the first thing you see when you arrive and the last thing you see when you leave. And it's the hard work of the Garrison that leaves a lasting impression on its many visitors. And nowhere is that truer than at West Point. These historic grounds and this national treasure that serves as home for the nation's preeminent leadership institute in the world. This installation hosts millions of visitors from near and far, from local families enjoying a football game at Mikey Stadium, to parents and alumni, to, of course, the continual parade of dignitaries to include presidents and heads of state from around the globe. West Point is continually in the public eye, and every distinguished visitor, and if you think about it, every visitor is a distinguished visitor, leaves here with a positive impression, not only of this installation in the academy, but the United States Army at large. And that's thanks to the outstanding work and commitment to the excellence of the Garrison team and Cecil's leadership. As Garrison commander, Cecil's responsible for West Point's real estate, our buildings, facilities, and during his tenure, he oversaw and managed several major construction and revitalization projects, including the upgrade programs of our cadet barracks and academic buildings, the Milcon approval for the new Cyber Engineering Academic Center, which will be built just down the road here, and the West Point Cemetery Expansion Project. Most recently, he facilitated the approval for the development of a $740 million installation utilities program that outlines critical infrastructure needs and established venues allowing us to receive nearly $200 million in gift funds for the Mikey Stadium Preservation Project and the Link, a future humanities center right here at Trophy Point, right there at Trophy Point. Cecil's foresight and stewardship were vital to the Academy's overall USMA 2035 initiative, our holistic modernization efforts to expand our capabilities to develop Army leaders for the 21st century and beyond. Cecil also led our efforts to address conditions in our post-housing, improving communication amongst the various stakeholders, ensuring we improve conditions to provide the best and safest housing possible for our West Point families. Cecil established a regular drumbeat of information forums to enhance the dialogue with his team, our community, and our neighbors outside the gates, throughout the county and the state. When the chief, General McConville, talks about winning manners, he says, we win by doing the right things the right way. Cecil, you and your amazing team at Garrison have certainly done the right things the right way. You've done the ordinary things better than anyone else, and your stellar leadership and commitment to excellence has been invaluable to the Academy's all-important mission to the United States Army, to sustaining our preeminence as a leader development institute, and to the continued stewardship and care of this national treasure called West Point. I know you're proud of your team, and let me just say, well done for the incredible job as Garrison Commander. Join me in a round of applause for Cecil Marson. Cecil leaves some big boots. Colonel Evangeline Rosel takes command, and I know she's up to the task. She comes with a great reputation, hailing from the great city of Hackensack, New Jersey, not too far away. She's a proud graduate of the class of 1997. With pride we defend. Vanjie brings a wealth of experience to the job, including a deployment to Iraq as company commander, the EO program manager at USMA, command of the MEP station in Milwaukee and Chicago, and as well as the Military Entrance Processing Command, 6th Battalion, responsible for 6 MEP stations, not an easy job, in 5 states, and most recently as the Personnel Division Chief on the CENTCOM staff. Vanjie, welcome home. We're excited to have you and Jamal on the team, and I'm confident you'll continue Cecil's track record of excellence and lead the Garrison team to even greater success. And Cecil, well, he's not going far. In fact, just over to Washington Hall is our new Deputy Commandant of Cadets. We're fortunate that he and Amy are remaining on the team. The comm is getting an outstanding deputy in the Corps of Cadets, an incredible leader and role model. But for now, I know Colonel Rosel is anxious to take command and get to work. So Vanjie, we welcome you and your family to the West Point team and community. And Cecil, congratulations on your successful command tour and your incredible leadership. Thank you. Go Army, beat Navy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the former commander of the United States Army Garrison West Point, Colonel Harry Cecil Marson.
Sir, you failed to mention the trailer park that I built for my fellow West Virginians on West Point, but we'll hit that in a minute. Holy cow. Just give me a second here. I just want to look at my team real quick. And if you would, just give me another round of applause for all these folks out here. It was kind of a big deal to bring all this stuff out here today, but and had the band play. But I'm just going to tell you something a little different about all this stuff out here that's kind of unique that came up this last year. All the equipment you see out here in some direct form or fashion dealt with the pandemic and the COVID we're dealing with. That helicopter out there is outfitted to fly folks to any one of our Tier 1 medical facilities here in the state to take care of everybody here. The band plays great music, and we always applaud them for their music, but they're probably going to live on in history here at West Point because they were the front lines of all the tracing, testing, and cleaning for the COVID pandemic. So please give them a round of applause. All the civilians behind you, when the entire Corps of Cadets and everyone was on spring break, we were the first ones here with General Williams when the shotgun went off. We had to make some really hard decisions about what we were going to do with the Corps of Cadets. I had absolutely zero idea of how to deal with the pandemic. Thank God the soup had been in Liberia with Ebola. But that team came together very quickly and gave the boss some sound advice. And to date, this academy has led the COVID effort really for any academia across the country and really for any place. So please just give Give me another round of applause for all these folks. I'm sorry, I'm kind of emotional. It was just a phenomenal team, and it was just wonderful. But I'll be a little more formal. General Williams, Mr. Gray Watts out there in space at Fort Eustis, General Jeb, General Buzzard, Mayor D'Onofrio, Mr. Livesey, Mr. Newhouse, Brother Rusty Lane, my double. I'm the mini-me of that operation. Guest friends and teammates at West Point. I just want to thank everybody for being here. It honors me that you all have been here, and I'm just so thankful that everybody came, and just thank you. It's just absolutely wonderful. You know, there's been a lot that's gone on the last 2 years, and often I got asked, hey, Cecil, what about the housing, the COVID, some of the big challenges the Army's facing? And I'll tell you, as I was sitting down last night, I don't really remember a whole lot of that, all the tough stuff. I really don't. I just remember really all the good. So you're going to be really fortunate, Evangeline. You're going to have the greatest time of your life coming home here and running this place. It's going to be awesome. Getting the opportunity to come to West Point. I'm not a graduate. General Jeb, just as one sidebar favor, I told my family this is actually a 2-year associate's degree to graduation today. So if you could take that program, put your name on it, and just say graduate, you can throw in nuclear physics. That'd be mostly impressive. I'd appreciate that. But, you know, I'm a soft guy by trade. That's what I've done for years. And I will tell you, the only arching guidance that my dad gave me growing up was just, hey, go find good teams, son, and do what you can for that team. And that's really all I've ever tried to do in the Army is just find a good team somewhere and ask them to allow me to join it. So General Williams and Mr. Gray Watts, thank you for letting me join this team. I really appreciate it. It was absolutely my honor, my privilege to be here for that. So I'm going to tell you just about a few things that I remember. Here's what I remember from being at West Point. I remember the COVID coming. I remember a guy named Charlie Petty, Bob Brown, and Dave Rasmussen with a couple majors from ACI and Modern Warfare and a couple lieutenants from ODIA and a few other civilians standing up in EOC when there was no playbook for the pandemic. I remember pulling it together in about 48 hours, and then about 48 hours after that, operating distributed to run and secure this entire base and take care of everyone here when the country was kind of in a big flux, especially here in New York State. I remember all those folks being very calm and collected, not knowing really what kind of guidance to give them, and they gave me the greatest advice that I was able to give to General Williams so we could get this train rolling, and I'm eternally grateful for those folks, but that's what I remember. I remember the MWR team with Bob, Anne-Marie, and Chris and the entire crew working with Mr. Livesey, coming up with the idea for Long Pond to get that opened up. I remember Anne-Marie working at 8, 9 o'clock at night as we talked about new projects for the community. I remember Bob telling me about opening up the club, the arts and crafts, so the LRC ladies from the uniform factory could come down and start sewing masks on their free time to help the community out and help out the local first responders. That's what I remember, folks just volunteering to come in when a lot of folks were just scared to come to work, and they did it volunteering. That's really what I remember. I remember Principal DeMarco and the MPs and Sergeant Major Walker going in and putting furniture in about 3 days before the school was about to open when it was time off during the Christmas period, and nobody asked me any questions about it to get it ready for our kids. I remember a call from General Milley, not awesome, after the AUSA convention about some housing issues, and they needed an answer in about an hour. My deputy was on leave. I'm not a very good writer, and there was this lone consigliere named Babe Bosco that was downstairs, our lawyer. He came up and worked with me till about 1 o'clock in the morning, never said a word to help me get that response put together. Just absolute phenomenal commitment. I remember Dr. Frank Chaboy, the school superintendent for Highland Falls, walking me through all the new facilities out of James I. O'Neill, and just kind of sitting back as he explained in every excruciating detail, the football stadium, the classrooms, all the great stuff for our kids, and the pride he took as a superintendent of the schools. And it just made me happy to be his buddy. And just made me excited what he was trying to do for the community as he laid all that out. That's what I remember. I remember the big battles with Boylan and Taliber and Bloomer and Reinhardt, Pat Ortland and Dan McCarthy. As we sat in my office once a week to talk about every massive project on this base and how we were going to drive it and getting all their advice. I didn't say a whole lot because I hadn't built anything in my life, but I listened to what those guys were saying. And it was just absolutely phenomenal as they tried to build West Point going forward. I remember Dan Milton and the O&M guys every day coming out here, fixing HVACs, fixing lines, working the summer camps. I love sitting out there with them at Buckner at 8 o'clock at night, talking about their families and everything they did. It was a highlight of my day, but that's what I remember, that type of commitment. Remember Mayor Joe trying to bring businesses down into Highland Falls as we would talk about how do we help the village and the town grow. And I'm deeply appreciative of all his efforts the last 2 years to try to make that happen with the accelerator, the new hotel, and all the great stuff that the Thayer team with Carly and Rick are trying to do. Excuse me. I remember my front office staff, CSM, Mark, RM, Mike, and Sergeant Arana fighting over my calendar. Rosemary trying to protect me, and I'm saying, crank this person in. I want to keep rocking today, and I'll never forget the great stuff. Also remember the COVID whisper. Mike, are you out here? Mike, stand up, clown. This is Mike Greifenstein, folks, a.k.a. the new George Clooney of West Point. So this is what's funny when you're a garrison commander. I knew Mike a little bit when I was in South Africa on the continent, but he's our public health official. He has become famous. Sue and I were joking. Nobody in the Army knows what a public health official is. They're important, Griff. Actually, they're not that big of an important deal. And when a pandemic comes, though, they're really freaking important. But Mike Greifenstein has been with me every step of the way for the last 5 months on his COVID, at every town hall, every meeting, with every employee, instilling confidence in the system. I know Mike came here and didn't think that was what he was going to do, but he did an absolutely phenomenal job. And I ask you again, please give Mike one more round of applause. So our first town hall, I'll give you a side note. My mom watched it. There's always one positive comment, Evangeline, on your town halls. It'll be your mom. After that, I'll start to dip on you a little bit. But we did our first town hall, and Mike's briefing, and I talk kind of flowery. I'm like, hey, I got my quarterback here. He's doing a great job. He's going to talk to you about COVID and how we're going to take care of it. Of course, my mom calls me and goes, well, that's pretty cool. The quarterback was in there talking about COVID. Of course, Griff looks like he's about 90. And I was like, Mom, what quarterback? Kelvin Hopkins wasn't with me on that brief. And she goes, we called the guy your quarterback. I'm like, Mom, he's not the quarterback for the football team. That's our public health guy. But good checking out, Mom. I appreciate that. I also remember back there, Alex Rivera and Kyle Onell, our firefighters. They delivered babies in cars. All right. They were first on the spot when we had the vehicle rollover. Our firefighters are unsung. They always just give me a hard time. Sir, you don't come down and bother us that much and ask us. And I said, hey man, you've got the LeBron James syndrome. You guys are so good that I never have to think about you because you do just such a phenomenal job here. But if you could, give me a round of applause for my firefighters. And Alec, I'll tell you, bud, I really hope your son comes here to play football. That was some of my best times, meeting his team and having his whole team come here to meet with me. I remember the Titans here in the housing office, Curtis and Terry, day in and day out, rocking and rolling with BBC, trying to fix the housing here at West Point. Probably no more two committed individuals in the history of West Point to try to get something done. And I'm eternally thankful for both Terry and Curtis. I always remember Ingrid and the DHR team. They always cheered me up when I came down there with Big Earl and all her crew. It was just awesome. Give me a shout out. Also the best looking place at West Point, so they're pretty awesome. I remember Pio and Randy getting us ready for the Tier 1 university, and based off all his hard work after the IPB yesterday, I think between the dean and Randy and the crew and DPW, we're going to get some custodial support here. It's going to get us ready to rock and roll for the fall. And then just the last couple of folks I want to recognize. I want to thank a guy named Mark Beeger and Mark Weathers, the chief of staffs that served while I was here in command. A lot of late nights with those guys, really just trying to figure out for everybody here and everybody on the phone that have a love of West Point, trying to help the Stoop steer this going forward in a really tough time. But I really appreciate both their counsel. It was absolutely amazing. To Amy and the boys, honey, I love you. Thank you for standing with me. You were absolutely awesome. And I'm just so lucky to have you. I'm so lucky to have you. Harry and Hank, I'm really proud of you guys. I know I'm extremely hard on both of you, but I want you two to know I love you. And I'm expecting you two to pick up the torch and take care of this country when your dad walks off the stage, okay? But I love you. To my mother and father, I did my best here to try to take care of this academy. I know there was never a day I was ever going to get in this place till the command list came out, but I'm glad I finally got here one way or the other. But I hope I made you proud. Big D, I appreciate you wearing no shoes. You kept up the West Virginia piece of this, all right? MPs will be escorting you when this thing's over. But you're my boy. I love you, Blue. So Vanjie, oh man, give Vanjie a round of applause. She's coming in for the big win. And don't worry, I got her husband Jamal working with me here in a couple of days. This is gonna be money, Jamal. We got some work to do. Keep up with the comm, so it'll be awesome. So Vanjie, the soup said a lot and laid out a lot of stuff, and I've crushed you over the last 2-3 weeks to get you ready for what you're about to walk into. But here's what I'll tell you. This is a fact. There was nobody more or less prepared or less knowledgeable on how to run a garrison than I was. That's a fact. There really wasn't. I didn't know what West Point was when I got up here, you know, I was had never done any of these types of things. So I was completely lost. I remember sitting in your seat, Andy Hansen's telling jokes, laughing about brown water and all that kind of stuff. It was funny. And I was there like, oh my goodness. You know, I'll be honest with you, I was more nervous about this than a couple of my trips downrange. But all the stuff the soup just laid out to you and all the people I just mentioned, they're the ones that have done all this work the last 2 years. So they're all still here. So for you to go in, it's going to kind of be a nice autopilot. You're going to give them a little course correction, but they all know the job. And, you know, the stuff the soup laid out, quite frankly, I'm a 2-year hood ornament and I had minimal to do with most of that stuff, really. I just happened to be in a room and just try to get some folks to talk, but they're all here and they're all going to take care of you. So you're going to be able to sit back and relax and make the magic happen. And you're coming home, and I met your sister about a year ago and she was fired up. You know, she tackled me at an AOG function, right? So it's good. I'm excited. And then here's the other thing. When the soup lays down on you, Mr. Gray Watts, they come at you hard and they're like, oh, this is terrible. You're the worst garrison commander I've ever seen. Thank God this place is so old. There was a guy named Benedict Arnold that was a garrison commander here one time, a long time ago. I said, I know, sir, but I didn't try to turn this place over to the British, so it's okay. So that'll get you out of 1. Now 2, it starts to get harder, but that'll get you out of 1. Hey, so with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to everybody in Highland Falls. Thank you to Orange County. And I'll end it like I do all my town halls. I love every one of you out there. God dang it. Go Army, beat Navy.
States Army Garrison West Point, Colonel Evangeline Rosel.
Don't worry, I'll be quick. They gave me like a minute and 42 seconds. So, good morning, Lieutenant General Williams, Mrs. Williams, Mr. Gray Watts out there in space, attending virtually, Brigadier General Jeb, Brigadier General and Mrs. Buzzard, Mr. Buddy, Mayor D'Onofrio, distinguished guests, family and friends, and members of the USMA class of 97. I know you're back there. Thanks for attending today's ceremony. It's with pride we defend. Okay. So first and foremost, I have to thank God from whom all blessings flow. And of course, I have to thank the soup because it goes God and then the soup. So sir, thank you for officiating today's ceremony and for the privilege to command in your organization. Mr. Gray Watts, thanks for the opportunity to join your IMCOM team. So in an effort to keep this short, I'm going to change the tempo a bit, so please bear with me. To the awesome USMA band quartet, I have always loved to hear you play. It sounds even better now that I'm not a cadet. So thanks, fellow AGs, for leading the way. To the headquarters, DP, TMS, and EOC teams, thanks for transitioning me in. I don't know all those acronyms yet, but I'm ready for our journey to begin. So some of the acronyms I do know, so I'll mention just a few, like DHR, PIO, RMO, and the infamous DPW. If I haven't seen you yet, I'm still making my rounds. So thanks in advance for your support as we make bigger leaps and bounds. As we stand here on Buffalo Soldiers Field, I feel it quite befitting to mention that we must continue to evolve, to diversify, to keep shifting, not just to tolerate, but to respect, learn, and grow. We play a part in shaping the future. We can all be the change, this I know. To the USMA 97 crew, with pride we defend. As cadets, remember those old crusty colonels? Yes, we are them. To Cecil, Amy, and the boys, best of luck at USCC. I will reach out if I need something, so thanks in advance for not ghosting me. Thanks, family and friends who traveled from near and far. No, not from the red states, because if you did, DES knows who you are. To my husband, my girls, my dad, and of course my mom, thanks for your love through another move, and today it's game on. To Mr. Gressler and CSM Rusty Lane, my bouncers on my right and my left, I didn't forget the most important things. All programs and policies remain in effect. As we safely get back to our new normal, and though the sports schedule is still a bit shaky, what remains the same as always, winning matters. Go Army, beat Navy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction, the playing of the Ballad of the Green Berets, and remain standing and join in for the singing of the Army Song.
Let us pray. Dear God, we are thankful once again, not just for the clouds, but for no rain too. Dear Lord, we are thankful to welcome to our winning team, Colonel Rosel and her family. Dear God, we are asking for your blessing of wisdom, that she may lead well, strength that she may bear under the burden, courage to make the hard decisions as we go forward, and Lord, a compassion that leads by example. Dear God, may all these things be hers, even as she gives them now to the Academy. I pray in your name. Amen.
Please join in. March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have won to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count all the cadets loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Lieutenant General Williams, Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, we thank you for your attendance at today's change of command ceremony. Please join us in welcoming Colonel Rosel and family at the receiving line on Buffalo Soldier Field. Also, those wishing to offer their farewells to Colonel Marson and his family can do so in front of the reviewing stand. Again, thank you for attending today's ceremony and have a safe day. Go Army!